Welcome to episode 2 of Odds and Ends. I didn't want to leave you behind. I wanted to show you where I was. Some of these won't really make a long episode, or you've seen me do it before, but we've got new viewers. Welcome. You know how to get on my good side? Leave me a comment. But also, hey, if you're getting any kind of value, like, subscribe, ring the bell. Here's what I'm doing though. Look at this. Look at this big honking window. Probably can't even get it in frame. Look at this. This is what came out of that king. Look at that. Look at it. It's in great shape. It's in really good shape. But I've got to get that in here. So, I'm going to show you my thought process of how I make this happen. Now, the first thing that I do is I measure top to bottom. So, top to bottom is 62 and about 7/8. So I can cut that in half. That's 31 and about 3/8. So remember that number, 31 and 3/8. Now I've got to measure from here to here, which is 78. So I take half of that, which is 39. I take my handy dandy pencil, I come over here, and I go 39. I go up here, 39. That's the middle of this camper, the middle of this opening. This is going to be wider. I just didn't want to mess up my interior. I'll hit this real nice with the router when I'm ready. Okay, so 39. Our other number was 31 and 3/8. So I come from this center, 31 and 3/8, make a mark. 31 and 3/8, make a mark. Do that on both sides. Both sides. But to get this on, because if you remember, if you saw any of this in the last couple episodes, this wasn't on here. I get that measurement right here. Right here. 17 and 7/8. 17 3/4, 17 7/8. I take a couple of measurements just to make sure things aren't wonky on these, because they are. 17 and 3/4, 17 and 7/8 will give me 1/8 of an inch to work with. So I'm going to go with 17 and 7/8. Boom, right there. 17 and 7/8. Now, I've got this installed, I've got this installed, but, that top plate's gonna hit right here, and we can screw into it. You can see where the devil's nails were used right here. I hate having devil's nails in my shop. And then that bottom plate right there, that goes right here. And so we're really sturdy right there. Now, I've got to get this screwed in, not nailed, no devil's nails. So I have got to put something right here. Now, normally, you remember, when we're doing our Scotties, we'll grab something like a 1x4. Same as this, right here. We'll get that. Let me go over to this side where you can see me. Great camera work. Aren't you glad you tuned in? Where's Russ when you need him? So, I'm going to put that on this edge and this edge, but as you can see, this is rounded. Right here. Rounded. It's a canned ham. It's not a square ham. This is not rounded. Now, sure, we can go back to my really old videos, and we could do some kerfing. I don't know. That doesn't feel right on that front windshield. Front window. Doesn't feel right. That's what I thought about doing. I just don't think I'm going to do it. What I am going to do, and you're going to see me try it live first, because I don't know. It should work. No reason it shouldn't. We're going to find out. I cut 1/4 inch plywood. These are 3/4. So, I cut 3 of them. Pick a card, any card. But, each one is going to be just a touch longer than the one before it. The shortest one is going to go on first. And it's enough to bend because this is a ridge right here. You saw us. Well, let me get on the other side. Great camera works. Glad you stopped by. Here we go. So this first one will go here, and it's going to fit perfect. Now I'm going to nail it in so that it matches the marks we made. Remember these marks right here? So this is about 7, and I think it was 7.5 I cut them at. So I can nail them in here. I'm going to put glue here. I'm going to put glue here. I'm going to go over and I'm going to get my, my clamps. I'm going to clamp it. I'm going to clamp all 3. I'm going to do both sides. I'm just going to let it set overnight. I need to go in. It's getting late. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go get my clamps. I'm going to go get my glue, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I kind of feel like this is a better view. Might be right, might be wrong. You'll be the first to know. The glue. It's doing its job. I guess it's part of its name. All right, so I'm going to put this first one on. I better make sure it's the shortest. It is. Okay. So I'm going to get a little glue on, maybe, right here. I don't know. I'm going to have to pinch that out right there. I'll find a way to open that up, and I think that'll do it. All right, let's kind of, all right, get in there. There we go. We'll just get a little glue right here. Just a little art class is all we're doing right here. Probably sell that on eBay, I think. Not. Okay, get my first piece. Got my naval gun. I'm just gonna line up on my lines. I'm gonna start right here, right on that one. Bring this over, just a touch, just a touch. Boom, boom, boom. We're gonna get that, we'll get that bottom and that top just a little extra. It kind of is acting like it needs a little extra. That's okay. I'm gonna turn this pressure down a little bit. Make these, there we go. I think that'll make a difference too. All right, now my next smallest one. All right, I got this guy right here. Let me glue him up. Hey, come on, get on there. Now this 1/4 inch is gonna bend overnight, obviously, but we want it glued down. Yeah. Man, I gotta start working out. We gotta get it glued in there nice and good. Get it plenty to hold on to because it's gonna be holding the side of that window. And that's what we want. All right, let's see. We get this guy right here. All right, give him one of these. Maybe give him 2 of those, maybe 3. Start making our way up to this top. You really just want to make sure that you're even on. Ooh, that's gonna need more than that. All right, we're even on our lines. Even on our lines. All right, let me get in here on this glue again. So, if you have any camera operating skills, send your resume to rebuilderrob@gmail.com because I shouldn't be getting paid for this. Well, I'm not, so I guess it's okay. All right, one more. This should be exactly 3/4. Get that lined up. Pop these in. Again, getting a little extra through there. Man, feel pretty good about that. All right, I got my clamps right here. Important part is right there. Pull that sucker in. And we can come back and then we'll nail because this is going to turn in rebuilderrob@gmail.com. This will push back in, and then we'll be able to nail, because this is going to turn into a 3/4 inch piece of plywood. And I know there's going to be a hater out there that's going to get on and comment, you know, that's not... Leave me alone. All right, enough about that. Let's get this guy right here. Boy, hey, we may have to get the big guns in on that one. Let's get this guy back down here. right there. Let's get this one right here. Let's get one here. I got this other one. It's a little more mechanical. And this little guy's got this little screw thing on here, and that'll put the Hertz to it. So let's do that. We're gonna run that right in there. Hey, that's perfect. Look at that. Look at that, would you? Can you see that right there? See that little bit that's different colored? Kind of laid down in there real nice. We're going to let that, and this really will serve as our rail here that we can attach the roof to. Hey, we're starting to get some kind of crazy coloration. There we go. Well, that's what I'm doing on that. I'm going to go over there and do the other side, and we'll try to find another project to get you in on. Here's our second project that's not enough to put the whole thing on, because you've seen me do this before, but sometimes our new viewers haven't. We're going to go through this one real quick, and I'm going to show you how I start insulating the camper before I put the skins on. So, as you can see, this is the front of our King, and I'm going to just take a quick measurement right here, and I'm going to make sure that that lines up with this measurement here, and it's real close. Very close. So I have this measurement. Now I have got to take that measurement. Hey, glad you tuned in. Isn't this camera work awesome? And I've got to take this 3/4 inch insulation. It's that foil back stuff. People really like this. I kind of like it too. I like the pink stuff too. But anyway, because we've only got 3/4 inch on our ribs, right? Just like on a Scotty, 3/4 inch on the ribs on the roof. So I have got to make my measurements right here. And I'm gonna go right about there, just with my pencil, kind of poke a quick hole in it right here, right where I know it needs to be about right there. And now, I don't know if you're familiar with a chalk line. This is filled with blue chalk, and there's a line, like just a string, and it's got a hook on this end. So I'm going to take it and line it up with that one, and you can kind of see that blue chalk. And then I line it up with this one, pop that line, and now there's going to be a line on there for me to cut. And I'll need to cut that just as square as I possibly can. Now, how I'm going to do it? A lot of times I'll just use like a carpet knife. A lot of times I like to use the saw. I'm going to use the saw. So, check out me running the saw. We've got the correct height because we just did that. Now we've got to get the correct length. And I snuck these end rails in when you weren't watching. That's just the build up. This all has to be boxed in, everything, for the roof to sit on properly. All right, so we know that it's normally 78. We're at 75. 75 inches. So now we have got to make that 75. So I'm just going to measure from one end to 75. I'm going to make my mark right there. Over here to 75. And now all I have to do is get my handy dandy knife right here and make my cut. So I'm going to make that cut right here. I'd rather use the saw, but it's not really very convenient for this application. So we're going to use the knife, maybe make a couple of cuts. That's what happens. You're going to get an ugly spot, but that's okay. That's the side that, well, nobody's going to see either side. So, let's turn around here, see what we're going to do. Now, let's see if this, we got to cut out right here. We've got to cut that out. So, Let's just make sure that we're good right there. So this is going to come all the way up. This is going to be where we run some electrical. So that's going to be there. Then I'm just going to have to cut a little bit more off of here, just so it has a spot to run. Then I'll set that right in there, and I'll set that big piece in. But I think I'm going to have to make a little cut down the middle, because if you can see, there's barely a bend, and it's not much of a bend, but I think if I just do this, I'm not cutting all the way through. I hope I'm not. Good. We're just going to kerf it. We're just going to put a little kerf in here. And a kerf just means that we go like that, and it can bend. And it's going to sit in there real nice. I'm going to go get some tape. I'm going to take that up and make sure it's what we want. Ooh, would you look at that? Installation is in. It's fairly tight. That's going to give us a lot of heating and cooling ability. Now, I've got a number 3 for you right here, because it's not going to be enough for an episode, but I don't want you to miss out on it. So, I've got to take this Romex through here, up here, across. And if you remember, we built those really nice shelves. So right here above the window is where we're going to have our shelf. And I'm going to build a piece to the shelf that's going to allow it to have a vintage camper light on it. It's going to look great, but I got to get power to it. Now I've got to go through all of these. Over here on the side, I got to start here, come on up, come around and over. I'm going to do that with this plunge bit on the router. I've got it set at 3/8. 3/8 ought to be plenty for my Romex to go through. And I'm just going to run a bead all the way around, and let's see how that looks. All right, let me turn it on. Here we go. All right, hopefully Russ double timed that so you did not have to suffer through those starts and stops. So now all I got to do is set this in here, just like that, take it up and around here, and I'm ready to hang lights. That's number 3. Thanks for sticking around for the whole 3 of them. They're just kind of fun. I know you'd want to see it and be wondering, oh, how did he do that? No, now you got to see it, and I didn't leave you behind. And I appreciate each and every one of you, especially my people who leave me comments.